Hello everyone, I'm Miss Sylphand, I've just flown in. And today we are back with more Dragon Age Origins. I've been debating where to put these since I really do want to read as much of the codexes as I can because there's a plethora of information that you otherwise miss out on. So I think here, since we're kind of at a mini break in between the origin and the beginning of my character's journey, would be a really good place to start reading the codexes. As soon as I can find them again. Because I remember where things are. I don't. Yeah, let's start with creatures, because we now have entries in this. Oh, and we're starting off with a big one at number 3, Archdemon. In darkness eternal they searched for those who had goaded them on, until at last they found their prize. Their god, their betrayer, the sleeping dragon Dumont, their taint, twisted even the false god, and the whisper awoke at last, in pain and horror, and fled, them to wreak havoc upon all nation of the world. First Blight, they're no daddies, 8-7. The false dragon gods of Tevinter Imperium lie buried deep within the earth, where they have been imprisoned since the Maker cast them down. Yeah, Maker. No one knows what it is that drives these darkspawn in their restless search in the sleep of sleeping old gods. Perhaps it is instinct, as moths will fly into a torch flames. Could be. Perhaps there is some remnant of desire for vengeance upon those who goaded their magisters to assault heaven. Could be. Whatever the reason, when darkspawn find one of these ancient dragons, it is immediately afflicted by the taint. Well, that's not good. It awakens twisted and corrupted, and leads darkspawn in full-scale invasion of the land. A blight. Yeah. GG. Let's go to the next one. Entry 9, Deepstalker. A fool trusts his eyes. A wise man fears every rock is a deepstalker. Dwarven saying. And yeah, totally true. Possibly the strangest of all creatures found in the deep roads is the deepstalker. Name, Tesbadam. Name, as the dwarves call them, hunt in packs. Oh, wow, that's a dwarven word. I should know that. Generally by burrowing underground and striking when their prey is in their midst. Stalkers come in several types. Spitters have venom glands that can spit secretions that slow or injure their prey. Jumpers hurl themselves at their targets, knocking them down and making the kill easier. The most common variety scares its prey, leaving the unfortunate victim helpless against the rest of the pack. Yeah, these things are not fun. But they're also kind of easy kills. So, as long as you don't get swarmed, you're fine. Entry 12, Genlock. These are the most common darkspawn in the underground. Stocky and tough, Genlocks are notoriously difficult to kill, even by magic. Alphas. In any group of Genlocks, there's usually one who is dominant. As the tallest, strongest, and smartest of their kind, Alphas serve as a sort of commander, directing or bullying, boo, the others in command. There's in combat, because I know what words mean. I really don't. 13. Ghoul. When the blight does not destroy, it corrupts. Very true. Any creature infected with the darkspawn taint that does not have good fortune to die outright becomes a ghoul, a twisted shadow of itself. I'm way too cheery reading that. The name originally comes from men, whether human, dwarven, or elven, who become tainted, usually while being held as a captive food source by the darkspawn. They would turn cannibal, preying on other captives, slaves to the will of the archdemon, driven mad by pain. During a blight, the corruption of the darkspawn spreads through the wilder areas of Thedas and infects animals found there. This produces grotesque, enraged bears called Badaskaren, as well as blight wolves. Fortunately, ghouls rarely survive their corruption for long. That's kind of sad. That's the most fortunate outcome they can hope for. Anyway, entry 28. My favorite, giant spider. Seriously, I hate real tiny spiders. I don't know how I'd fare against a giant one, other than, all my fears would totally be justified now. Kill it with fire. I'm just saying, if I were a mage, I'd go primal, just so I could kill spiders with fire. Anyway, Codex time. Giant spiders tend to appear in old ruins and other places where the veil has become thin because of magical disturbances or a great number of deaths. Yeah, don't live in those places, in other words. In such places, spirits and demons pass into the world of the living and attempt to take control over living beings, spiders among them. Ew, seriously? Why? Not all scholars accept this explanation for the presence of these beasts, however. As they shouldn't. Spiders are just frickin' evil. Some claim that thinning veil allows magic to leak from the Fade, tainting each creature as the spiders to transform into larger and more potent creatures, where they ever would become naturally. So, spiders are natural. Gotcha. While spiders are known to possess powerful poison and the ability to fling their webs at opponents in combat, studies of them have been few and full range of their abilities are unknown. Because they're freaking spiders! Kill them with fire! I'm just saying, I have issues. And there's more in the culture and histories, I think. Okay, nothing going up. Oh, thank you, you're all wonderfully glowy. Entry 136. Deep Roads. There isn't a dwarf alive who remembers the deep roads as they once were. Yeah, that's true. They were the network of tunnels that joined the tides together. To be honest, it isn't even right to give them such a simple term as tunnels. They are works of art. Is that because there's kind of places where that's true? With centuries of planning demonstrated in the geometry of their walls, with the statues of paragons that watch over travelers, with the flow of lava that keeps the deep roads lit and warm. And I still have my opinions about that lava. It doesn't work that way. The cloud gazers up on the surface call the imperial highway built by magisters of old, a raised walkway that crosses thousands of miles that could only have been built by magic. Perhaps it is commendable to the deep roads, although we dwarves didn't need magic. Yes, dwarves do not need magic. They are awesome. And anyone that thinks differently, I have opinions about. Anyway, Codex. I suppose it doesn't matter anymore. When the Darkspawn rule the deep roads now... That's sad. When Orzammar sealed off entrances to the deep roads, abandoning everything that lay out there, we handed over our kingdom that was to those black bastards forever. I think this person has opinions too. To think that there are Genlocks crawling over Baunamar, my apologies about name butchering, now tearing down our statues and defiling our greatest works. Corruption covers everything we built out there. Every dwarf who goes out and comes back says it gets worse with each passing year. The foulness spread a little further. Yeah, I don't mind you being ticked about this. The cloud gazers think the Darkspawn are gone just because they aren't spilling out onto the surface? Huh! One day when Orzammar is gone for good, they'll find out differently. Those Darkspawn, that's something else. Those Darkspawn won't have anywhere else to go but up, and they'll do it. The surface folks will have themselves a blight that will never end. Transcripts of a conversation with a member of the Dwarven Mining Cast, 890, blessed. Oh god, you have almost about as much opinion as I do. That's kinda great. Anyway, moving on. 143, The Proving. Words. Valos Atredom. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. In the 23rd year of reign of King Ragnan Adukin, an old man of the servant caste was accused of stealing a sapphire ring from his employer, Lord Dace. Hey, I know that guy! The servant was stripped of his position, and he and his family thrown to the streets soon after. The servant died. Well, that got dark. Really dark. The son of disgraced servant challenged Lord Dace to a proving, as he should, declaring that his father had been the victim of cruel injustice and the ancestors would bear him witness. Good on you, sir! Lord Dace had no choice but to accept. Like I said, good on you. Sacred, I know how words are pronounced. On the sacred stone of the proving ground, the nobleman faced the servant boy. Lord Dace carried a sword crafted for his own hand and was clad in his great-grandfather's armor. Wow, that's kind of overkill. The servant boy had neither armor nor weapon. When the battle began, the boy fought like the whole pack of angry deep stalkers, flinging himself upon the startled lord, wrenching the sword from his hand and prying at his armor with bare fingers. The boy knocked Lord Dace to the ground and beat him until the lord begged for mercy. Good man, as he should. The boy and his family were reinstated to their place and... Really? You want to work for this guy? Really? Dwarven culture, people. In Day's household. And the virtue of the boy's father was never questioned again. The ancestors had spoken, and no one would question their word. As told by Shaper Vortag. Yeah, good. It still feels a little weird you'd want to go back to that life, but I'm not going to judge. 147. Orzammar History, Chapter 2. Oh lordy. Okay, here we go. We were losing the war against the Darkspawn, slowly, a few men at a time, but losing all the same. The warrior caste was dwindling with each generation, as more able-bodied men perished in their prime without fathering sons. With each generation, more of the deep road had to be sealed, more tags lost forever. The kings of Orzammar watched and wondered how long would it be until nothing remained of our people but their memories. Oh, that's sad. That's really sad. And then Paragon Caradin arose from the smith caste with new weapons, golems. Because that ended good. Giant soldiers of living stone and metal, each one was an army. With their Paragon's golems, we began to retake the lands we had lost. But for a while there was hope that victory, final victory, was coming. But the height of the war, Paragon Caradin disappeared, and with him the means to make golems good. Several furores were made into the deep roads to search for the Paragon, but nothing was ever found. Over time, the golems we had were damaged beyond repair. That's sad, as those are living beings. And we began our slide once toward extinction. Orzammar's a kingdom, as told by Shaper Sisbiro. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Entry 157, The Grey Wardens. The Blight had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. Wow, 90 years. That's a frickin' long time. How are we still alive? A god had risen, twisted and corrupted. The reigning gods of Tevinter were silent, withdrawn. What writing we were recovered from those times is filled with despair. Oh, yeah, 90 years of Blight will do that. For everyone believed that from the greatest archons to the lowest slaves, the world was coming to an end. Let's see how far we've come. Let's see. Sorry, couldn't resist. At Wysop Fortress in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Imperium, seasoned veterans who knew nothing of their entire lifetime except hopeless war, came together. Okay, I want this novel. Dragon Age writers who do the novels, make this a thing. I want to see it. That and the Soulless novel, just saying. When they left Wysop, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer. They were the Grey Wardens. Yay! Something awesome came out of this. And I am scrolling. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The Blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. As they should. They grew in number as well as reputation. Finally, in the year 992 of the Tevinter Imperium, upon the Silent Plains they met the Archdemon Dumont in battle. A third of all armies of northern Thedas were lost to the fighting, but Dumont fell and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumont, Zazakil, Toth, Andorel, Razakel, that certainly sound familiar, Luskan, and Urthamel. 4 have risen to archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch against the ages, well aware that peace is fleeting, that their war continues until the last dragon god is gone. From Ferelden Folklore and History, by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. Yeah, there's a bit of a history to the Wardens. 158, The Gokortian Wilds. It is said that in the midst of the Black Age, when the werewolves stalked the lands of Ferelden in numbers that kept even farm holders indoors and hound on every doorstep, a powerful Jarl of the Alamari people stood and declared that he would put an end to the threat. Yay, Alamari! They're ever our ancestors. His Arling stood on the border of the dark forest to the southern border of the Ferelden Valley, and he claimed that the werewolves used the forest to launch their midnight assault on humanity. We don't know. Maybe the wares had a reason. For over 20 years this Arl led an army of warriors and hound deep into the forest. In his hunt for the werewolves, he slew not only every wolf he came upon— hey, wolves have nothing to do with werewolves, leave 'em alone— but also every member of the Chastened Wilder folk. Hey! Boo! Chastener used to be a part of the Elamari. Be nice. Any one of them, he said, could harbor a demon inside, and thus be a werewolf in disguise. Yeah, cool. For 20 years, the forest rang with screams of the rivers ran red. I almost had a cool reading there. The tales that say an old chastened woman found her sons all dead by the Jarl's blades. She pulled one of those very blades from one son's heart and plunged it into her own chest, cursing the Jarl's name as she did so. Where her blood touched the ground, a mist began to rise. It spread and spread, until it was everywhere in the forest. The Jarl's army became lost, and it is said that they died there. Good. They were kind of dicks. Others say they wander still. The ruins of their Arling stand at this day, filled with the ghosts of women waiting eternally for their husbands to return. Well, that's sad. Yeah, Ferelden has a lot of weird history. The forest of legend is, of course, the Codician wilds. There are as many legends about the great southern forest as there are shadows, or so the saying goes. The Chastened Wilder folk have made their home there since mankind first came to these lands. World taste is slightly different. And the wildlands spread as far into the south as anyone has ventured. Beyond the mist are vast tracts of snow, white-capped mountains, and eternal fields of ice. It is land too cold for mankind to serve, yet the Chastened eke out an existence even there. And they tell of horror beyond the wilds that the lowland folk could not begin to comprehend. To most, Ferelden simply ends with the Codician wilds. There is nothing beyond. The wild is a great land of trees, wet marshes, and dangerous monsters. What more need be said? A lot. I kind of feel like I want to know more about the Chastened, but we don't really get to know a lot about them. The Land of the Wilders, by Mother Alicis, Chantry Scholar, 918, Dragon. 159, Darkspawn. The surfacers claim that the first Darkspawn fell from heaven. That's a weird phrase. They spin tales of magic and sin, which could be fun. But the children of the stone know better. Yeah, we do. The Darkspawn rose up out of the earth. For it was in the deep roads they first appeared, creatures in our own likeness, armed and armored, but with no more intelligence than Tuspadam, bestial and savage. If you remember from our last entry, Tuspadam are deep stalkers. Yay, I learned something. At first there were few, easily hunted and slain by our warriors. But the recesses of the deep roads they grew in numbers and in courage. Our distant tigers came under attack, and now it was the army, not a few warriors, being sent to deal with the creatures. Victories still came easily, though, and we thought the threat would soon be over. We were wrong. As told by Shaper Sisbiro, or however you pronounce his name, because it's really complicated, and I'm sorry. Entry 160, The Blights. My dear Annika, I would not worry about the assembly. Let the nobles sit together and argue over whose house owns the greatest tig. That is a kind of a stupid thing to do. It keeps them from panicking. Maybe they should be a little panicked, you know? Have some concern for your constituents, all I'm saying. Which they would surely do otherwise, and prevents them from making a great nuisance of themselves. War is the business of warriors. You know, it's kind of, in this case, for everyone, you know? I would say that the enemy's strategy seems to be changing, but they never appeared to have the strategy before, beyond destroying everything in their path. For weeks their numbers appeared to be dwindling. There was talk that perhaps we were getting close to wiping them out, which would have been cool, but no. We could not have been more wrong. My point. For today we came upon the body of their main force. Oops. I cannot give word to it, Annika. I have never before seen such death in one place. Yeah, not good times. There were Darkspawn beyond counting, and at the heart of the throng a great beast, as tall as the palace of Orzammar, with breath of fire. A paragon of Darkspawn, perhaps, for they seemed to pay it defense. Yeah, Archdemon. They were leaving, marching toward the mine shafts which led to the surface. Yay! Other people's problem! But I knew when I beheld them that once they had devoured what lies above, they will be back. From Letters of Paragon Iduken. So yeah, that was a bit of a history bomb. Yeah. That was a lot of history bomb. Let's go into characters now, shall we? And we have a lot of entries here. Actually, it looks like Balin has been updated a little. Let me just give it a quick cursory glance, so I'm not reading the same things over and over again. Actually, I'll just read the whole thing over again. Why not? Time is something you may not have much of. Third of King Endrian's children, Balin has always been considered the last and least of his family. Yeah, I see why. Trian was the undisputed heir apparent from the moment of his birth. Boo. No, he's not. And Ulukra was not only the most accomplished, but also their father's clear favorite. Yeah, I am. Balin's most noticeable trait was his ability was to stay out of trouble. I will hurt him. He murdered Trian and framed Ulrika. See, the Codex gets it right, people. Eliminating both of his rivals in one stroke. Bro, was your mom Orlesian? I'm just saying. You can tell me. It's cool. I understand. Let's see if they updated dads any. One moment as I quickly scan this. Okay, not really, so let's go to 164. King Callan Theron. King Pretty's here. I'd hoped for a war like in the tales, a king riding with the fabled Grey Wardens against a tainted god. Oh boy. This is your king, Ferelden. This is your king. Son of legendary King Merrick Tadden, Callan was the first Ferelden king born into a land free from foreign rule in 2 generations. Since his father's death, he's held the throne alongside his queen, Anora. Who, yeah, I have opinions about her. 168. Duncan. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Warden sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. Woo! Go us! Like many others, Duncan gave up his family name when he joined the ranks of the Wardens, a symbolic gesture of cutting ties. He might say this was a convenience in his case, however. His mother was from the Anderfells, his father from Tevinter. His childhood was spent in the Free Marches and Orlais. His people were everywhere, and his homeland was nowhere. Kind of reminds me of someone else from later. He was given almost impossible task of leading the Wardens in Ferelden, a kingdom that had thrown the Order out 200 years earlier. Yeah, I bet they're kind of regretting that now. Facing local suspicion and hostility, he set about finding recruits. Like me! Yeah. Oh well, 174. Lord Pyrael Harrowmont. No one is born without rights to the throne. The sitting king may recommend a successor, but the assembly ultimately decides who will rule. Yeah. House Harrowmont is one of the oldest noble houses, as old as Orzammar itself. Yeah. Endrin's most trusted advisor, Harrowmont, is well known for being able to administer, and the author of many compromises of the ever-waving assembly. Yeah. Logain MacTier. It takes more than legend to win a battle. This is true. Logain was born a farmer during a time when his country was under foreign occupation. When he was still a boy, he joined the resistance, where his considered tactical genius quickly became apparent. Because I've read this book, the Crown Prince, kind of a dumbass. Kind of like his son. This explains a lot. He became close friends with Prince Merrick, that guy, the last true heir of the Ferelden throne, and together they led the rebels to drive out forces of Orlesian Empire. Merrick raised his friend to nobility. Yeah, and Logain is now more a symbol than a man. He represents the Ferelden ideals of work and independence, which is kind of cool. I like Logain. Well, my character doesn't, but me, the player, does. Especially after reading, I think it's The Stolen Throne. The Stolen Throne really changed 100% my opinion of him. If you have not read it, I 100% recommend it. Books and songs, since we're talking about books. Trian's Journal. Wait, how did I not read this sooner? It feels like something I would have read. 21. Ferventus. Noticed Gorham running around trying to get pieces of my sibling's ceremony armor ready for the feast. Stopped him and asked how the preparations were going. He mentioned that one of the bracers had a spot of tarnish on it. Was quite impressed by his dedication. He has a most loyal family. You know, if you think he's so loyal, why were you so mean to him? Just saying. You could have been nicer. If you'd been nicer, you know, I wish you'd been nicer. 23rd. Ferventus. Was on my way to discuss the treaty with Father when came across a messenger waiting in the hall. On being asked why he was loitering about the royal palace, he mumbled something about having a gift for the new commander, and asked me, begged almost, to pass along some object or other to my sibling. Me! The heir to the throne of Orzammar does not run errands for a messenger. Must have been new on the job. Had him thrown out. However, still reeling from the gall of it all. Yeah, that was my shiny, stabby lightning dagger. You are mean. That dagger was awesome. I killed so many things with it. I miss it. Learned later that Belle had told the messenger the quickest way to get things to her sibling was through me, and had him wait until I came by. Oh, wow. Balin. Balin. Of course it's Balin. So unseemly for a Prince of Orzammar to play such tricks. Ha ha ha. Yeah. He needs to grow up and understand that as royalty, he has responsibilities. Oh, he grew up all right. Yeah. 24th Ferventus. Found Balin's little playmate again, lurking around about the corridors outside his bedroom this morning. Must have been trying to steal something, or already had. Aw, because nice. Boo. Bosom seemed full... Oh, sorry. Bosom. I know what words mean. Bosom seemed fuller than most decent ladies. Some jewels hidden in the bodice? Dude, maybe she just has nice boobs. Did you ever think of that? Anyway, pretended not to see her. Would have been awkward otherwise. Wish Balin would keep her confined to his room, if he must have her around. Little brother is too concerned for fun and pleasure and not serious enough for his duties as prince. Haha, he is more serious than we gave him credit for. Must talk to him about discipline when I have time. No, if only. Unfortunately, much too busy with my many tasks Father has laid upon my shoulders. Yeah, if maybe had that chat a bit sooner, you know? Just saying. 26 for Ferventus. Remember to send small token of gratitude to Jalen Halami. Alliance between Halami and Duke must be kept strong. Lady Jalia, however you pronounce it, will of course accept proposal for marriage since we'll be kings sooner or later. But never hurts to be polite and keep the lady happy. Wow, I dislike you! I get you're supposed to be my character's sibling, but I dislike you a lot. Hear that there are some surface-selling silks. Maybe we'll send Scout out for something nice. Jalia's favorite color is turquoise. Well, at least you know her favorite color, so you're trying. 28th, Ferventus. Heard about there being provings held in their siblings' honor. They did not have provings for me at my first commission, and I am the heir. Yeah, people don't like you the way they did me. What is going on? Must go watch these provings. Oh, hey, you totally saw me fight then. Cool. Make presence felt. Yeah, mine was felt more. Orzammar must not forget that I am next to be her king. No, you're not. From the Journal of Trian Dukin. Yeah, you're not. Sorry, you're just not. And, of course, I am not going to be doing controls. So, yeah. So, now we're all caught up on our journal readings, and I think that'll be enough for one video. So, thank you for watching. Until next, tak ligatilok hero.